Good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a nice start to the week and a nice Monday. Ooh. Hope that doesn't fall down. Let's see if I can get this. Good. There we go. I hope you're having a good start to the week and that you've had a good weekend. It's summer vacation. In Sweden, we have... actually, I need to turn this one off 1 second. There we go. In Sweden, we have, they call the industrial vacation. It starts on the 1st of July. So for most Swedish people, when we say summer vacation, that starts this week. So from now on, most people in Sweden are going to be on vacation, and that's nice. And what happens when you go on vacation? It starts raining. That's typical Swedish weather. And that kind of ties nicely into what I thought about talking about today. If you don't have a topic that anyone wants to bring up, I actually have one that's rather interesting. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. And that's how who you think you are is not the same as who you feel you are. We often spend so much time and energy, and then, you know, if you've been here a lot to the stream, you know I talk about this a lot. We spend a lot of time and energy trying to change how we think about ourselves. I actually remember I went to a friend of mine who works as a coach, and she does mindfulness. Not just a coach, I mean, she does therapy, and she does mindfulness therapy, and she works for the not the municipality, it's the region, does mindfulness also. And we were having a discussion about this, and I asked her, because I thought, well, that could be something I could work with as well. And she started talking about what she called mindfulness. I'm like, what? That's what you call mindfulness? It was quite different from how I saw mindfulness, and what people put into mindfulness when we do it as a therapy form or something that is meant to help in a therapeutical setting where we try to make people kind of come out from feeling bad or like might have depression and stuff like that, is that they involve a lot of focus on positive self-talk and a lot of, she called it something else, like having a mindset that's positive self or something like that. So you think about yourself in a positive way. You don't talk down to yourself. You don't see yourself as a failure. And I kind of like that makes a lot of sense if you look at it like that. But the problem with that is that focuses on the thoughts. We're trying to change our thoughts about who we are. So I want you to do a little bit of experiment with me. If you have something you feel you have an issue with, sorry, I have to turn on the air conditioner. It's quite warm in here. If you have something you feel bad about, say you feel like you're overweight, or say you feel like you can't follow through on tasks, or you have I don't know, like you don't know how to socialize. You feel like, I just make a fool of myself when I go in and talk to other people. I just sound dumb. I look dumb. Like I don't like talking to other people because I just look silly when I do. So if that's something you feel that you do, and then you try to change your thoughts about that. So we change that, like, which would basically be affirmations. You start saying, like, actually I am very confident when I talk to other people, and I am very beautiful. I am very perfect weight, whatever that may be. And you say these things. That's not really going to change anything, because underneath you still feel like, oh, you know what, I feel uncomfortable when I'm with other people. I feel uncomfortable in my body because I feel like I'm overweight, or I feel uncomfortable that I don't know how to socialize with other people. Whatever it is that you feel that you can't do, just changing your thoughts about it is not going to change how you feel about it. It's not going to change who you identify as, because the problem comes from a fundamental misunderstanding in that we think that our identity or ego comes from a concept of an identity. Like I think in my mind, this is who I think I am. That's who you think you are. So that's who you identify with. That's what you identify with. And we can see the thoughts. We can kind of control them to a certain degree. We can control the output of our thoughts, and we say, okay, that's what I identify with. But that's not actually true. What you really identify with is how you feel about those thoughts. It's how you feel about you. How do you feel about talking to other people when you're not even there, when you're just by yourself and you're thinking, what am I like when I'm with other people in a room and I'm socializing? What do I feel like then? Or you think about my body weight. What do I feel about my body weight? Do I feel like I'm in a comfortable body weight? Or do I feel like I'm overweight or underweight? Do I feel like I'm too young, so I can't do those things? Or the place I'm getting now, too old. I used to feel too young for so much of my life, and now when you get older, you're like, hey, you know what? Being too young is not so bad, I'd rather be too young than too old. But when you're young, all you want to do is get old. Because you would have, we always want something else, and we think that it is just about changing our thoughts about it, but that's not true. You have to change how you feel about it. And there's a profound resistance in a lot of people doing that, because we think like, well, I can't do that. That would be like fake. It would be not real. Because changing how I think about it to manipulate how you feel, that's okay. But actually looking at your feelings and doing something about that, no, we can't do that. There's something wrong with that. Because why? Why is that? Why is it so scary to look at how we feel and how we relate to things? Well, it's because that's who you identify with. So what you're doing now is you're no longer philosophizing, intellectualizing, having a discussion, a profound discussion with like spiritual people where you're discussing the nature of the universe and being like, that's easy, that's fun, we can do that, that's interesting. But going in and actually touching what you identify with as you, like, no. Can't do that. That I don't want to do, because then if I do that, then, well, something bad could happen, and I don't want to go in and actually touch who I am and question who I am. You would want to feel different, but you don't actually want to go in and do the work of looking at who you are. So instead we focus on who we think we are. We try to tell ourselves that, oh yes, I feel good, I enjoy this, and we go look at law of attraction and manifestation, where we have the belief that if I can just change my thoughts, then I'll get the dream life that I want, and then I'll believe that I'm actually good in socializing, and then I'll be good and confident, because when I get those things, then I'll be able to do that. It's the other way around, though. It's not that you get the things and then you become happy. It's like you become happy, and that's kind of it. Like, why would you need the things if you're happy? Like, oh, I wish I'm going to manifest this dream car, like this, whatever that may be for you. Some people would say a Lamborghini, but that's like the classical YouTube thing, or they're going to have a new electric car, a Jeep. I don't care what car it is. The car you think like, oh, if I would just have that car, oh, I would feel so good then I'd really enjoy my life. I'd be very happy if I had that. So I'm going to make myself happy now so I get the car. Why do you need the car? You're happy. Like, as long as you have a vehicle that you can do what you need to do with a vehicle, then why would you need that particular vehicle? Because you're already happy. But you kind of believe that you needed that car to feel happy, and if you somehow manage to make yourself feel happy anyway, then you're like, well, I'm just doing this so I can get this, because then I'll really be happy. So it's kind of fake. Like, it's not really enjoying it. And someone listening to this is going to go like, yeah, I get it. Yes, I really need to feel like I'm happy and I have it. Then I'll get the car. Okay, I'm really going to believe I'm happy, so I get the car. Because we have this, we can't get away from it, that either we need to change our thoughts and think happy thoughts, and if I could just stop my mind, then I'd be happy. Or if I could just get the stuff I want, then I'll be happy. And the idea that you could just be happy, that would be death to the ego, to the self. Because the self needs that conflict, it needs the drama, it needs the emotional friction to the world that says that I need to tune reality, I need to change reality, I need to not accept reality as it is, I need to make reality conform to my wishes. Then I'll be happy. Then I will enjoy life. That's what the ego does. And I talk so much about how, like, the ultra rich, how they don't seem to be happier than you or I. Like, in fact, they can probably be incredibly unhappy, and very likely that comes from the reason they got so ultra rich was because they focused on manipulating reality to become a certain way, and they didn't focus on actually enjoying what they were creating with in their lives. Because it's fun to create stuff. I'm not saying don't go out and build a company, or don't go out and find a partner, or like invest in yourself so that you actually have a body that you're happy with, because a healthy body is going to make it easier to enjoy life. or that you shouldn't learn social skills because it's fun to interact with other people. Like, all of those things are fun things. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. But if you're doing those things because you think, if I could just do those things, then I'll be happy, then you're looking in the wrong place. And you're never going to get the thing you're looking for. Because that thing is here all the time. It's just that you put those things in the way by thinking that if I could just think a certain thought, then I'd be happy. If I could just have positive thoughts, then I'd be happy. But actually, even positive thoughts, imagine if you said, oh, I have positive thoughts. The thoughts that come to my mind is that I'm the perfect weight, and I'm so beautiful, and everyone loves me, and I'm so rich. And you can think those thoughts, but then you start feeling, and that's not what you feel. You feel something quite different. You actually feel like, oh no, I don't like this at all. And you push that away. You have an aversion for it. You don't like feeling that. So just changing the thought is not going to change how you feel. It could be that you actually do affirmations long enough, and then gradually you just kind of forget about it and you change your mind. But it was not really the thoughts that did that. They just triggered that thing that made you feel bad whenever that happened. And then eventually, like, okay, this is a silly thing to do. Why am I walking around feeling bad about this? It doesn't help at all. I actually have, when I do my coaching sessions, I have 6 questions that I lead people through, and we look at this feeling that you're having and understanding that that is who you are in that moment. So if you feel I am ugly, what you identify with as being is ugly. If you feel in this moment that you are rich, what you identify with in that moment is being rich. Now there might come outer circumstances that question that, and then you don't feel that anymore. But in the moment when you feel that, that's what you identify with. And then we look at, does this feeling, does it help us be a more benign person? Does it help me interact better with the world around me, to be a happier person? Does it actually make me happier? Or is it just getting in the way? Is it just something I'm telling myself to protect this story of me, like what I'm so important, I need to get these things, I need to have people view me a certain way? And by doing this and really breaking this down, eventually you'll get to see what's underneath. What is it that you're protecting? Because all of these feelings, what they're really doing is that they're trying to protect an image of you. There's a story underneath all of that you are exerting insane amounts of mental energy to uphold. Because every time someone walks by you, you have a feeling of being judged, and you're judging them. And by judging them, you're also judging yourself. Like it's a process that goes back and forth. So even if you think like, oh, I'm so much better than them, well, then that's a pressure towards you. Now you have to uphold this identity that I am better than them, whatever that means. Or if you walk by someone and they look at you, feel like, oh, I'm being judged. Now they're looking at me like that, and you have that's pressure. And that's the big things. Then you have the smaller things where you identify as, well, I'm a person who likes it when it's warm. I like it when it's cold. I like Paris. Actually, I don't like big cities. I like smaller cities. I don't like being in big cities. Or I don't like being in smaller cities. I like being in big cities. All of these things are things that we identify with as me. And we have an emotional judgment to the world around us. You might say in your mind something else, like, no, I actually really like being in this beautiful place, this big city. And you might just say that because you're with people who think that way. And they do that, so you want to fit in. But what you feel is something that you can't override. And when you look at that, when you see that feeling is just an emotional judgment, is you going in and emotionally judging big cities, judging smaller cities, judging the world around you, believing that if I could just change the world to be how I want it to be, then I could be happy. Then I could enjoy life as it is. But unless these things happen in a specific way, in a specific order, then I'm not going to allow myself to be happy. So I'm going to choose to feel bad, which is pretty insane when you think about it. How we consider this to be normal behavior. It's basically madness disguised as being a human. It's not easy doing this. I mean, it's not complicated doing it, but it's not easy doing it, because there's almost like a brain fog that comes over when you start trying to just be here and just enjoy being here, and trying to get rid of this emotional judgment to the world around you. That kind of pulls you in, and you just, and you just get caught up in your emotional fantasies or thought patterns, if you want to call them that, and just drift away in some fantasy about how beautiful the world would be if I just got that thing, or if I just won the lottery, and doing anything but actually experiencing what's in front of you right now. Doing anything but being right here. Doing anything but feeling what it's like to be here. To see that, you know what? Life is actually pretty nice. For most of us, for most of you watching this stream, life is pretty good. Like, you might have some problems in life, but if you compare what life was like 500 years ago, you have it incredible. Like, it's insane the amount of safety and security and prosperity you have around you. It's like completely unbelievable to someone 500 years ago. And unless you believe that pretty much everyone at that time was unhappy and miserable, then there's something you're missing, and not something they were missing. There's something you're missing about how you relate to the world around you that doesn't have to do with what happens to be yours or what you happen to identify with, but actually how you relate to those things. So when we look at who we think you are versus who we feel we are, it's not really a complicated equation. It is not really something that you need to sit down and try to figure out, and not something that you need to analyze. Hey Mats, nice to see you. Not something you need to analyze and try to get something from. Instead, it's just something you need to sit down and feel what that feels like. How are you doing today, Mats? I'm kind of finished with the thing I was talking about, because it was an interesting concept, actually. I was discussing how there's a difference between who we feel we are and who we think we are, and how just because we think we are someone, that doesn't mean we feel we're that person. Absolutely exhausted. Well, you and me both. Yeah, I have a cold or something, so I feel like I could just go to bed. I almost thought, like, you know what, I'm just gonna skip the meditation tonight, but I thought instead what I'll do is I'll just start and then start the meditation a little bit earlier. That way, and my throat is giving up, so I don't think there will be any guidance today. I think we'll just sit together. My throat is just about to give up as well. Did you have anything on your mind that you'd like to bring up? We have another 10 minutes before we're going to start sitting. I'm ready to meditate. Yeah, let's do that. I'm ready to sit as well. Like I said, my voice is probably going to give out any minute. I did solve the computer problems, though. That's something good. It was a drive scanner that I had installed that was just taxing the system. So now the stream seems to be working again, and I'm not getting error messages the whole time. That's nice, at least. Okay, let's sit. It's Monday. Usually we do guided today. If you come here regularly, you'll know that. But today I think we'll just sit, because my voice is probably not going to handle it the whole way through. So we'll just do it that. Enjoy the sitting, and I'll see you after. Thank you for a nice sitting and a nice talk before. I hope you'll have a good week, and I will see everyone back on Thursday. I'm sorry that there was no guiding today. My voice is kind of giving out, so I thought better we don't do that. I'll see you on Thursday, and have a good week until then. Thank you, and bye. You're a little bit late here, baby. Definitely no stickiness of the mind at all. Yeah. Nice. Take care, everyone. I'll see you on Thursday.